I just wanted to start with showing you again the directions that I sent you that shows the supplies that we'll be using for this project. I've got just a very limited palette for this exercise. I've got yellow ochre, white, and black, and I've got a couple of inks. This is Doc Martens Hydrus Fine Art watercolor ink, which dries just like acrylic inks do. So that is chrome yellow, which ends up being pretty orange. And then this Daler Rowney. And this one is Indian yellow, but again, it shows up orange. I also have this a Doc Martens Bombay Black India ink. It's like an acrylic, and it takes a little longer to dry. So with this project, you might want to just have a hair dryer around to dry off the pieces that look a little bit wet still. Here's an oil pastel that is in the orange family, and here's a soft pastel that's also orange. I use this little tin, it's a lid actually, that I put the India ink in because I can't always squeeze it right out of the bottle the way I want to, but that'll be enough for this time. And so we are going to start. Oh, I wanted to show you also, these are a few neutral little bits of collage papers. You can recognize the jelly print paper. There's some pattern paper, musical notes, stamps. My grandfather used to collect stamps, and he gave us a box of beautiful stamps, and there was just this little loose booklet of some that he was saving for a rainy day or whatever, I don't know. But these are interesting little stamps, part of an old dictionary and a phone book, anything, but kind of keep it in the neutral family, since this is kind of going to start out with a limited palette and be neutral. So I've got white, black, and yellow ochre. And it's amazing the colors we'll get from these three acrylic colors. That and the inks will make it a very interesting thing. So I'm going to throw just some random water on here. And then dip into the ink, my India ink, and just start making some random marks. It's going to pool into the water a little bit. It doesn't matter that I cross over. You notice I'm using my scruffy brush, but we're just getting some ink, which gives us some value. Some of this is going to end up being hard-edged or soft-edged. Whoa. Well, that's going to add to it for sure. That's kind of cool. I think I ran out of my little puddle, so I'm going to just randomly put some more strong black India ink in. And that's the basis. Now you can look at this and see what you like, but to me, this is the beginning kind of a feeling like some outdoor places I've been to this summer. I'm liking that a lot. That's one of those happy accidents, isn't it? So now I'm going to just drop some of this orange into my palette here, like that. And I think, actually, I go back to this. You know, these things have their little droppers, and they're kind of fun to just kind of do with the mark making. Why not? We'll play with the color as it goes in there a little differently once you see what I'm going to do. Cool. I don't want to overdo it because this is potent stuff. I'm not thinking too much about composition. This is really kind of an underpainting right now because we'll move along like we did with our very first exercise. Get all these random marks and colors on and then make it a more thoughtful painting in just a little minute. I like to keep some squares cut out of paper towel because I'm using that pretty much all the time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through here and soften some edges of the black that I put down. It doesn't matter how it happens. Hey, that's interesting, isn't it? I'm not so happy with that, but this is just the underpainting, isn't it? So I'm going to mess with this orange a little bit. Woo! See what I mean about the yellow? This is called a yellow, but it is very orange, isn't it, when it gets down here? That's cool. Now, when you bring this orange, and you'll see that yours is orange as well, up close to the black Indian ink, look what happens. It creates kind of a green, which is part of our painting. That's going to be my second color to the yellow ochre and the orange. Look at that. And this is, you know, we don't want to do this stopping and playing around and thinking about it too much. You want to just kind of let these things happen because really this is still, like we've said all along, an underpainting. So now I have done this with the inks. Don't know how that's going to work, but we'll try it, whatever it is. Oh, look at this has been left out. Might have to add some more orange to that. Now these are just really kind of intuitive things that will work out as landscapes in my case. You can use these as underpaintings and make the ink fall in different patterns, but you can use this for still lifes, or you could use it to even put a person in it. But right now, this is just letting me be in the zone. And it's a start, right? Don't overdo it, Dale. You know me. Oh, look. I'm going to start to put in a little bit of the white tinted with very little yellow ochre. Don't want it to be too strong, but this, you know my thinking on white. I don't like to see just pure white. It's too chalky. So I typically tint my whites so they're either warm or cool. In this case, it's a little bit warm with this yellowish tint. And I'm going to make a pile of it because I'm going to use a lot of it. But see, that's looking white, but it's not really. And these marks are random, and I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm just playing, and the freer you're thinking, the better the piece will end up being. You can go over the tape, use some of this white to connect some stuff, or soften edges because we don't want all hard edges here. This is very random because I have no idea where this is going to go. Still making my yellow ochre and white. Today I'm using really cheap paint because I've been doing a lot of these and they get so many layers. I don't need my golden paints to keep it. I put my brush right into the orange ink, which works because the ink itself is translucent and acrylic. It's just yet another medium. Go through some of that black there. I like that. And I'm still going through all 6 pieces randomly. I don't need all those sharp edges, but I want to keep some. That's looking, I'm still liking that space, although it might be a little bit wet. I think I'll pull some of it up. Why not put some more actual yellow ochre into the painting? I like that. You know, it's hard to talk to you guys and paint at the same time, but I'm not even thinking about it. It's very free form right now. But you see it's starting to build layers. And it's kind of interesting because I have limited my palette. We don't have a whole bunch of colors out here, but they're starting to take on sort of a form. And this is just kind of the first step. I have no idea what's going to happen here. I'm going to strengthen some of the black. Why not? I don't know. I'm going to leave that one for a while. I like the strength of that. This needs some more though. And as you see what I'm doing throughout this thing, I'm going to use various brushes. I've already used my scruffy brush. Okay, let's leave that for a minute. I'm going to come in and soften some more because, again, not everything has to be hard-edged. With acrylics, you can build up texture-ish looking things by just layering all of these different paints and inks on top of one another and then rubbing it back a little bit, which I'm doing. This is, I keep reminding myself and you that this is just the beginning. I've left some white of the paper. Who knows if that's going to stay? But they're starting to feel like mine. That's the thing about doing this random stuff. You're not copying anybody, are you? You're doing your thing. And it'll always be yours no matter what happens with it. And if you don't like what's happening, just keep painting. That's the thing, you guys. I don't want to get you all discouraged if you get to this place and you think, oh my God, what a mess. Of course, that's what this looks like to me right now. But I trust that when I go further, something wonderful is going to happen. And if it doesn't, this is just a wonderful, fabulous exercise to get your juices going.